Hey guys, just a bit of a word about this whole Jimmy Kimmel fiasco. You know, guys, it used to be that you could turn on, one of these late night shows, whether it was Jay Leno or David Letterman, and before them, Johnny Carson. I think they had a couple of other guys, even Craig Ferguson. And, you could relax, be entertained. It was people have hard days at work, have a hard time at work, You could just relax and be entertained, And you didn't have to listen to anybody's opinions about this or that and the other. Yeah, if there was jokes, there were jokes, right? There were jokes about the president, there were jokes about certain politicians, fine. There were monologues and stuff like that. I can't say there weren't. But my friends, I don't know if you notice, every single last one of these late night talk show hosts, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, even Jimmy Fallon to some extent, have turned their show into a political platform. Right? We saw Stephen Colbert during the time of had dancing. They were wearing those costumes, trying to get people to You could say, well, it was a shmendemic and this and that. He had to do what he had to do, blah blah. Folks, this is basically when we realized that these guys are not, these particular guys I'm talking about, they're not here to entertain us. They have effectively become, or they were maybe commissioned to become, political operatives. They're not entertainers anymore, they're political operatives. So folks, I'm going to pose to you a question. Have you ever seen Trump ban or censor anybody before? I personally have not. The people that I have seen ban or censor, we've spoken about this, have been the leftists this entire time, right? Canceling, banning, censoring, deplatforming, etc., etc. So they've cornered the market on that. But folks, I'm not here to, play a whataboutism gotcha game, right? My point is, folks, this is not a case of censorship. You know what this is a case of? This is Trump's, which is, the FCC in this case, but it's really Trump, his shot across the bow at these political operatives. Folks, these people have stopped being entertainers a long time ago. They have been political operatives at the very least since the time of Schmobama, right? That's another word I can't say here. By the way, guys, anytime I type out his name, anytime I say his name, whatever piece of content I post about with that gets very, very little traction. It's very rare that I get traction when I post his name, okay? So his name is in the untouchable list, right? My friends, these people are political operatives. I was born in the former Soviet Union. All the entertainers, most of the so-called news people, they were doing the bidding of the government, right? Or certain, in this case, in the Soviet Union, it was just the government, right? It was just the Soviet regime. Here, they're doing the bidding of a particular party. I can tell you that it's not the Republican Party. I can tell you that it's not Trump, my friends. They've been doing the bidding of a particular party for at least 20 years, if not longer. And they've gone incrementally more, politically slanted. You see it. You see it over time. My friends, the people who think that this is fascism, the people who are saying, oh my God, we're losing our rights, we're losing this, we're losing that, honestly, they've been asleep. The majority of the audience of these shows are NPCs, folks. Right? I went on Jimmy Fallon's post and I see the comments. Folks, these people are NPCs. They've been asleep. They're not paying attention, right? Either that or they're what's called, the people that When they're on the airport line, they're the people that look up at the screen and see CNN. That's all they see, right? That's all they watch at home. That's all they see in the airport screen, right? They don't see anything else. They don't know that, for example, the guy who did what he did to Charlie Kirk was, part of Democratic Socialists of America. They don't know that he was dating a, TRANS. They don't know that. Automatically they were told a lie. And this is exactly what this guy was removed for. He wasn't removed because he said a joke. He wasn't removed because he criticized the government. He was removed because he is a clear political operative, folks. And this was a move by Trump to remove an actual political operative, a propagandist. Folks, again, I don't know if you know about this. During Obama's term, they repealed the law. I forgot the name of the law. It's been a conversation that there was a law that did not allow news channels, to spread propaganda. They removed that law, my friends. They removed it. So these news channels can spread propaganda. These so-called talk show hosts can become propagandists. Folks, this is exactly what they are. Especially in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, he used to be normal. He used to be a man with testosterone. I don't know if you remember, there was something called The Man Show, right? He used to have a sense of humor, and then we kind of got into it. Apparently, it's been explained to us, we've been made to understand that his wife brought him over to whatever the hell this side is, right? My friends, this is not a case of censorship. I know censorship when I see it. This is not a case of censorship. Jimmy Fallon was trying to do this whole thing of talking about Trump, and then he filled in kind of this thing where, instead of saying critiques, he said nice things because he's afraid he's going to... Folks, Trump is not the kind of person, I don't know, does he strike you as the kind of person he would cancel you or ban you for criticizing him or making fun of him about something? Folks, they made fun of him already for 10 years. He makes fun of them, they make fun of him, he could dish it out, he could take it. Folks, this is something else. This is something else. These people have become essentially Soviet propagandists. They've become like the Zorin that I mentioned the other day, Valentin Zorin. There was another guy named Vladimir Posner, did similar things. This is who they are, guys. This is exactly who they are and who they've been. And Johnny Carson famously said, I have no, there's no reason for me to inject my own politics into the show. I have my guests, we talk about funny things, we talk about this, we talk about that. Yeah, here and there we say certain things, whatever it is, but people, it's not that he's afraid he was gonna get canceled or whatever it is. People don't want to hear about this shit. They just want they just want them to freaking shut up and dribble. They don't want to hear about this shit. They're tired. They don't want your political bullshit opinion from your ivory tower. Whether it's left wing or right wing, they just don't want it. It's not what they're looking for. That's why, folks, the viewership of a certain age demographic, I think the young viewership for Jimmy Kimmel was 129,000. Folks, those are abysmal numbers. This is a person who should not have a job. He should be fired, right? Folks, that's how you know when guys like this are standing up and they're speaking every single night and they have no viewers and they're being paid millions of dollars literally to have no viewers. You know what that means, folks? That means that this is a psyop, propagandist operation for a particular party. This is exactly what it means. It's exactly what it is. Because the numbers don't check out, my friends. This is something that intelligence agencies do. They take out a lot of money. They pay people to do things like this, and the people are designed just to stand up for a certain amount of time, say their propaganda, and go away. My friends, this is exactly what this was, and everybody's eating it up like, oh, free speech, blah, 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 blah. Not realizing that obviously the opposite side have been the ones that have been destroying free speech for the past 10 years, if not more, right? to the point where comedians can't say anything, right? There's comedians who literally quit. What is it Seinfeld said? He doesn't even do colleges anymore. Folks, because he gets shot. Seinfeld understood maybe what, Charlie kind of didn't, right? He understood what could happen, right? He said it famously, recently. So, my friends, this is not about any kind of free speech. This is about an actual American president who cares about America removing Bolshevist propagandists from the screens. Because that's exactly what they are. Because again, if you have 130,000 viewers of a certain age demographic and you're paying bazillions of dollars that are not commensurate with your viewership of what you're getting, either, I don't know, the people who are running the network or whatever are just bad at business, which I don't believe, or they are being paid by certain entities to bring a certain message. And folks, those entities don't like America. They do not like America, and they want power. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. All right, guys. Shabbat Shalom, the last Shabbat of 5785. The world is being judged, and I have a feeling Hashem is now exacting justice. Let's see what happens.